always wanted to know what happened with Anthem. And now, due to an article that just came out, guys, we now know what happened to Anthem. What happened?
Well, we all had our theories, and this kind of confirms some of them.
We got it right!
Most of them,
Joe!
We were.
We got it f***ing right.
It seems like everything that possibly could have gone wrong went wrong.
And first, I want to give full credit to Jason Schreier of Kotaku. I know Kotaku, but Jason does good work. He's a journalist. He actually researches these. He's got verification from 19 different staffers of BioWare. He's put together a lot of interviews and stories from people that have worked there, from people who work alongside there, and everything in order to put together some pieces and actually figured out what the hell happened with Anthem, which is something I've always wanted to know. And now, from his article on Kotaku, which I highly recommend, it's a very lengthy article, so we're going to try to go through. Click the link in the description below. Support him. Give him some thanks for putting all the work into it like this. And because this is very important to talk about. And the reason why it's important to talk about is so that lessons are learned from this. So, how do you summarize an article that takes, like hours to read, right? Okay, yeah. I got it. I wrote it down. I wrote some notes down. But I'm going to factor it into several bombshells that we learned. We learned several bombshells through the articles. And so let's go through those now. Bombshell number 1. Pre-production of Anthem. Okay, hold on. So, concepting of Anthem. They started this all back in 2012. Okay, there's some context for you. 2012. Well, pre-production, which is where you're concepting and iterating and going back and forth and stuff like that, ended in 2018. 2018. They had one mission developed at the start of 2018 for Anthem. That means that Anthem as a game was in full production for about 12 to 16 months. Which is so crazy for this game. And actually quite impressive when you think about it. But it does explain a lot of f***ing things. But it does also show you that this game was horribly mismanaged by its leadership, by people in charge, and wow, I mean, to an incompetent level. That was bombshell number 1. Bombshell number 2, Frostbite, it's total shit for anything. Well, okay, it's not total shit for, basically first-person shooters, dice games, when you have actual dice staff who, created the engine, when you have people who know what to do with the engine, but when it's used for RPGs, when it's used for things outside where EA mandates that all their studios must use the Frostbite engine, it's total shit. It's a shit solution. And the reason for that is because not only were they forced to start over, right? Because they had actually developed some of these pieces. Because it's like, how do you have an inventory system? That wasn't developed. An RPG-like inventory system. They developed some of that with Dragon Age Inquisition and Andromeda. But they had to basically start over because they weren't allowed to use some of this because of the mandate. This is an online-only game. Would that work in an online experience? Remember, because this is an online game, they had to redevelop a lot of this with Frostbite to get it to work, period, for an online, multiplayer game. The next bombshell, number 3, the teams were constantly pulled to other games because teams had to be prioritized within EA, and guess which teams are going to get prioritized higher? The games with those hardcore microtransactions, games that make EA more money, essentially.
With their satchels
and
build makeshift huts on the
teams
beach.
were constantly pulled to
As
other
generations
games.
passed,
Bombshell
the
number
huts
4.
became
You
houses,
know how we were
and the
saying that
houses
it
became
seemed like
buildings,
nobody
and
at
buildings
BioWare has
became
played
real
their own
estate
fucking
investment
games?
portfolios.
Well, guess what?
The ancestors, these
They couldn't
original
play their own
settlers
fucking
wanted to go to a
game.
new
Why?
spot.
Because
There
not
was a
only was it in
line around the
pre-production
block,
for
so they went
6
to the grocery
fucking
store
years as they were
instead
screwing
and
around
got
on
stuff
what to
to make
do.
pancakes
But there were
at
moments
home.
where servers were down, where people couldn't go in and fix it. When you could fix it, the build was so unstable, and it took forever in order to fix small little things, so it ballooned up.
It was so bad, apparently chunks of the studio could not even play the finished product to figure things out.
No way. No, come on.
And here's
now.
the direct quote. It felt like the entire game was basically built in 6 to 9 months. You couldn't play it. There was nothing there. It was just this crazy final rush. The hard part is, how do you make a decision when there's no game?
Right.
There's nothing to play, so yeah, you keep questioning yourself.
Right. Because they're fucking jerking around, not knowing, is this finalized? I need to know whether this is finalized so that I
Nothing
can
was
go
ever
in
finalized.
and test it and see if the loot is good and the loot dry. I need this stuff done. As one guy said, I need this stuff done. And he was like, well, you know, we're doing it, and it's so much wheel spinning. Bombshells, man. Bombshell number 5, the Tombs mission. That was created, as we thought,
Yep.
was a big fucking
it.
roadblock. It was intentional. Pull up the quote. I need a quote from that one.
So it said, originally, according to 2 developers, there were time gates that were also included in this mission that would force players to wait days
You're
to
lucky
complete
they
it all.
did that.
But they took it out before launch, and this mission was controversial even within BioWare. The whole reasoning was to definitely throttle player movement.
They were throttling player movement on purpose. And before that, there's even a quote before that it was basically they were scrambling to find a way to extend the length of the campaign.
Yeah, there wasn't enough
And
content.
it's confirmation of fuckery and bullshit. Like, players are not fucking stupid. We picked up on that. And I can't believe that you guys developed that and that people over there at BioWare developed that and thought that was a great idea. And that just shows the desperation that they were in during this very basically crunch time. Small development cycle. They had been dicking around for 6 years. And then EA basically told them, this is coming out March 2019, period. And so BioWare would be like, oh, fuck, you know, and so they basically all hands on deck for that last bit, that last year. And I'm surprised they put it together as in the shape that it came out in, and you could tell it was basically a beta test. You know, everybody who purchased the game was basically $60 beta testers. Then we finished the development cycle for them. All of you guys finished their development cycle. That's why it seemed like, what the hell? Like, do they even play their game? No, they didn't. You are playing it now, and you're fixing it for them. That'll be $60, please. And finally,
I still can't believe that. Did they not test this? No,
No,
they
didn't.
didn't.
I mean, they did it in superficial ways, but not like extensive polishing and testing as we all thought. Because my number 1 bombshell, that fucking E3 trailer, we'll get there. Number 6, bombshell number 6, and this one's going to be controversial because this bombshell comes from reading everything. And it's not a popular thing to say, but guess what? It wasn't all EA's fault. A lot of it was BioWare's fault
Oh,
in
yeah.
terms of the higher-ups.
Yep, definitely, because EA had been paying them essentially to design and develop a game for 7 years. And after
I know.
7 years of development, EA was like, okay, we're releasing this game. And so, as hard
They
as
were
it
like, what do
is-
you got? And they're like this.
And it was like, oh, it wasn't rushed or anything. They had 7
years to make the game. And anybody after 7 years is like, I need what you promised me. I kind of need a game. And in fact, there's a story that the CEO of EA went to go and play it. Peter, what was his name at the time? Patrick. Yeah, that's right, Patrick. Went to go and play it at the beginning of 2017. And there was a build, and he was like, at the start of Patrick did not like the demo. He's like, this is not what you had promised to me as a game, as exact code. And you know what's crazy? Patrick, I don't like that guy. I'm glad he's gone. But he did one thing right. He said, you know what, this shit sucks. And you know what? And if the CEO plays a game and a CEO guy could tell the game sucks. Trust me, that game fucking sucked, right? Because it's not like Patrick is like the most hardcore gamer and he's analyzing every single little meta thing and min-maxing and all this other stuff. He's not doing that. He's just playing it and seeing what he likes, and he did not like it. And so they had to make another build pretty much just for him, a new build in the spring of 2017, and they took it to him. They put flying back in, right? And then he's like, oh, my God, I like it. This is exactly what I was looking for. And then that's what we saw at E3 2017. So what they played at E3 2017 was essentially bullshot. It was fake.
Yep.
It was fake. They didn't even have a game at the time, Joe.